If you're using Claude for research, you have probably run into this problem. You find great sources, but once your chat is over, they are difficult to organize, revisit, or reuse. Let me share one of my own use cases. I use Claude for prospecting. I ask it to search LinkedIn, for example, and find posts where people are talking about Claude related topics. Then what I like Claude to do is to use one of my custom prompts to analyze the content that they have written, give me a summary, and then tell me how I can position Kurator and approach them with a pitch. Now, Claude and Kurator together can do all of this and save the results so that they're easily accessible. Let me show you how that works. Before showing you how Claude and Kurator work together, we first need to get Kurator and connect it to Claude. To get Kurator, simply go to our website, optimalaccess.com, products Kurator, and then get Kurator from the Chrome Web Store and install it. You can do and test everything for free. Next, we need to connect Kurator to Claude. And to do that, you can connect it inside of the Claude AI web interface or the desktop interface. Either connection is going to connect both apps to Kurator. On the Claude AI, you go to Customize, and then you go to Connectors. I've already done it here, but I'm going to show you how it's done. You add custom connector. You call it something like Kurator MCP. Then you need to add a URL and a client ID. And you can get those when you go to our website. You go to Docs. You go to Connect Kurator to Claude. And then connect the connector, and you can see here there's a custom URL. You simply paste this, go over here and add it, and then you need the ID, and this we use the same ID for all users. That doesn't mean that your account is connected to anybody else's, but we need that to connect these two apps together, and then add. Once you add this, it's going to ask you to authenticate your account. Now Kurator and Claude are connected. We're going to take a look and see how we can make use of that. For our example, I'm going to use the LinkedIn outreach example. Here you can see that I asked Claude to perform a search in Google. It's a Boolean search. It's called a radar search. It says, look at linkedin.com post or pulse, and then search for Claude Desktop, Research Tool, Research Assistant. Then save those results to Kurator, create a folder called LinkedIn Outreach, and then use the prompt LinkedIn Outreach from my library to generate the descriptions. So it did that. It found the prompt and relevant existing tags, and then it found these 4 search hits, and it added them along with the descriptions to Kurator. To view these posts, let's move over to Kurator now. You can see that I have a folder called LinkedIn Outreach. Claude recognized that that folder already existed, so it added these last 4 hits to this folder. You can see the date is 7/30, which is today's date. It was also able to add the publisher and the author of the post. And it also added the content tags. You can see that they're not all the same, and they are related to the content that was generated here. The content description was generated using prompts that I have stored inside of Kurator under AI settings. You can see my LinkedIn outreach prompt. Here, Claude is able to reference these and generate descriptions based on your own personal prompts. Next, let's take a look at what it recommended. I'm going to open up this link in its own browser tab, Academic Research Skills for Claude Code. I can access the descriptions generated by simply clicking on the pop-up. You can see it has summarized the content in here, but it also has generated an email format for me and suggested how I can contact Sumant and position Kurator in a way that would relate to the type of content that he put out. Kurator, along with Claude, create an incredible synergy so that everything that you research in Claude is also accessible to you and not just part of Claude's memory. Claude will still remember this. When you're generating content or doing research, you can use the content tags in Kurator to address specific content for your next project. In other words, you can manage the context of what you're creating and researching with Kurator. You can try all of this for free. It will take you minutes to set up. I urge you to give it a try and then let me know what you think of it.